thanks to our sponsor, Gold Connections, tax preparation done in excellence. One thing that people don't like to do is play in any way with any of the alphabet agencies. That's a CIA, FBI, or the IRS. That's why it's so important for you to partner with a reliable, well-informed professional tax preparer. Worry less by leaving it to the experts, and Gold Connections are here to help you from personal to bookkeeping. Even if you're self-employed, barbers, hairstylists, truck drivers, daycare providers to nail techs, they have you covered too. And in all 50 states. So get your max refund today. Don't delay. Don't let this tax season overwhelm you. Trust Gold Connections to handle all your taxes with precision and care. Contact Gold Connections, GOLconnections.com. That's GOLconnections.com. Go ahead and ask for Miss C. You're listening to Hello Audacity Podcast, where we highlight Audacity in business from startup to multi-level success, finance, health, wealth building, and the journey to self-discovery. The added bonus is that you get to learn from industry leaders and hear victory stories across the nation. Now that's Audacity. I'm your host, lashamariespeaks. Let's get into it. Special episode. I did say there was a special episode dropping tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to keep you informed. November 1st is open enrollment. So now is the time to discuss your options and make changes to your health care insurance for next year. And we sit down with Hayla Folden to let you know what your options are. Stay informed, maybe save some money, but also keep yourself always researching to see if you're making the best decision for you and your family.
Now, hey, welcome back to another episode of Hello Audacity Podcast, where we showcase audacity in your business, your life walk, and matters of the heart. I'm your host, lashamariespeaks. If this is your first time joining us, please click, share, follow, and subscribe on Facebook and YouTube. Look, being in HR, I have 20 years in HR. More of the talent acquisitions, but I have heard my business partners in benefits screaming about this time of the year. But I can remember being an employee and truly not understanding, what the selections are, what my options really are. And so we want to raise awareness into this time of the year where open enrollment is about to happen. And you're diving into, what your insurance needs or options are. So I brought on an expert, a healthcare insurance broker. Hayla, how are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Lachey.
Thanks for coming on. I think it's, really, I always talk about, how to position your resume, how to dissect your offer and all of that. However, to bring in a specialist like you to give us more of an idea of what our options are, we feel as if we're kind of like in this box where we really aren't. So can we go ahead and tell the audience more about what a healthcare insurance broker is?
Yes. So I am certified. I am licensed. I am regulated by the federal and state governments to make sure that you understand what you're purchasing, what your options are. And there very well may be options that you don't realize. For many people who are getting their benefits through their workplace, they don't know that if you're spending more than 9.2% of your income before taxes on your health insurance through your workplace, you're not required to get it there. You can get it somewhere else cheaper. And I think it's important for people to know that because it keeps money in your pocket. And if you can't afford it, you're not going to buy it. You're not going to use it. So,
right. That is so true. Now, and that's, you just brought up a point. I always thought that I was locked in. They gave you this package, and of course, I'm on the recruiting end, so I'm actually giving people offers. And part of your offer is that insurance package, and that adds to your overall compensation package. So, I always had that's a benefit when it comes to an HR individual
And
trying
it
to
is,
get,
it,
employees.
right.
That's a plus.
It is. And people want that because they think they're going to get it cheaper if they get it through their workplace. But that's not always the case. And after 20 years in public health and working with HR, going through the benefit selection, realized that they don't necessarily know how to explain your benefits when it comes to your insurance. So they can tell you these are your options. You're going to have to pick one of those options in this timeline you have to pick it in, but they can't, or maybe they can if they've been doing it a long time, but most of the time they don't understand that a health insurance broker could listen to you talk about what your needs are for your family, your budget, and help you decide between those benefit options. So I don't just work for people who have no insurance or are looking for it, but if you are purchasing a workplace benefit package like that, and you don't understand which one you need, I can help you figure that out as well.
I know that we have options as employees. Somebody out there could be a contractor like I have been for 15 years or so. And there's a wonderful thing about contracting or consulting, is that you get to pick and choose not only your employer, you get a good amount for your base, but those insurance are very, very sucky. So let's talk to individuals like myself. They're saying, how can you help me? Because I'm really, you can. I know that I have rights to go outside and look at other options. They give me an either or. And before even you address that, the last option, if you opt out of your company insurance, are you penalized for that?
No, you're not.
Okay.
Well, if you opt out of it, but are not paying more than 9.2% of your salary, then yes, you are penalized. But if you are paying more and you opt out, then you are not. There are some options that are available that are nationwide. There are major medical plans that you don't have to worry about an open enrollment period. You can enroll at any point during the year. You would have to qualify based on health questions. So if you're in good health and that's an option for you, especially if you travel, then that is something that someone may benefit from without having to then go through their employer plan that may offer more coverage. Yeah.
I think you bring up a good point because, my company may offer me health insurance with no questions asked. But these other outside companies, if I go through a broker like yourself, may require me to go through a certain screening, maybe?
They may.
Because of pre-existing?
Yes, because there are some insurance products that do not cover pre-existing health conditions. And if you do have a pre-existing condition, then you're limited, unfortunately, on what you can get. But there are so many options if you're healthy. There are so many options. And it's not necessary that you have a major medical plan. If you are in good health, can afford to pay for a portion of your doctor's visit and aren't going to the doctor 5 or 6 times a year, then there are plans other than major medical that may work that would save you a great deal of money.
So I want to clarify this term healthy, because I know that some of the audience is going to say, well, what classifies healthy? Is it, could diabetes be a pre-existing condition where you're automatically eliminated for a majority of the options that's out there for private insurance?
Yes, diabetes and heart disease. So if you've gone to a doctor and are taking a maintenance medication for an illness, then you pretty much are considered for that to be a pre-existing condition. Because if you're taking some sort of maintenance medication, you're still under a doctor's care, then then yes, that's going to disqualify. That's going to throw you out of the what's considered healthy. Yeah.
But it's not like you can't find them.
Oh, no, you can find them.
You may just have to pay a little bit more. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's correct.
Okay.
And many people don't like marketplace plans, the ACA plans. I particularly love those because they can be very affordable. They do cover everything. So they're going to cover every pre-existing condition. They're going to have drug coverage included with them. They're going to cover hospital stays. But they may be more expensive than what you would pay through a workplace plan.
Gotcha. Okay. And so when we're talking about figuring out what plan is for us, what benefits my families need, what should you look at overall? I know it's not just medical. It can't be just dental as well. Let's go over some of the options that you have to choose within those vendors.
Okay. There are the major medical, dental, vision, because of course dental and vision are not considered health insurance. Those are separate plans that you have to purchase on top of your health insurance. The critical care insurance. So if there's a chance that heart disease, stroke, cancer runs in your family, that may be something that you want to purchase. And you don't have to purchase it for every member of the household. That's something that can be purchased for whoever is most at risk, that will pay a lump sum to you if you do have a stroke or heart attack or different types of events related to stroke or heart attack. There are what we call indemnity plans or fee-for-service plans, where it could be an accident plan or just a health plan in general, where they're going to pay a specific amount every time you go to the doctor. So for a preventive service, they're going to pay maybe $80. Instead of paying the full price of the visit, they're going to pay you directly a portion of what they think that visit should cost. So if you have a $175 doctor visit and they pay $80, then you're responsible for the remainder of that. And those plans usually will cover ER visits and urgent care visits, and some of them will cover surgeries. Accident plans work the same way, where they are specific to that fee schedule, where they're going to pay based on, is it a broken bone? Did you have to have an x-ray? Is it a broken bone that required surgery? That sort of thing. But none of those plans will cover pre-existing.
Gotcha.
So if you have heart disease, if you're already on a maintenance medication for your heart health, and if something happens, then those plans are not going to pay out because they're not going to cover that.
But that's only one disease out of like so many. So what about diabetes?
They still cover diabetes. They will still cover them. So the main problem we have with diabetes is the medication, test strips, that sort of thing, is getting that covered, because most of these additional plans outside of the major medical don't include drug coverage, or they include it, but they don't include every, I'd say, tier of medication where you have generic brand, preferred brand. They might not cover what you need, so you may be paying out of pocket for that. That gets really expensive.
Gotcha. All right. So let's create this fictitious person that is an independent worker. And they just got hired with the company. They're noticing that they're paying out for a family, which is a family of 3, maybe 4, because was a family anyway. And you notice that the plan is like, wow, I get this amount. Sure, it's a decent amount. However, my insurance is something that is going to eat up the that salary, because it's $1,300 a month for a family of 4.
Right.
Would that be something where that person needs to find an individual like you, an expert like you, to provide choices. Is that a realistic insurance plan for a family of four, even if you're independent, which that means that you don't have a company paying, giving you a stipend towards your medical?
Right. If you are independent and you're paying that much money for a family of four, you have to know that those marketplace plans in particular are going to lower your premium based on your income. So if your income is below $100,000 a year with a family of, I would say a family of three, then you can still receive a premium tax credit for that, which will reduce the amount of money you have to pay each month for your health insurance. However, because it's based on your income for the year, if your income is higher than what you expected or estimated, when it comes time to file your taxes, you have to reconcile that. So if you made more money than you estimated, you have to pay back some of that premium tax credit that you received. It's very important if you're doing a marketplace plan that you estimate your income as closely as possible or update your application during the year as it goes. If, for instance, you have a workplace plan, you're purchasing your plan through your employer. And for your family, say it's $1,300 a month. But if it's just the individual, it's only maybe $200 a month, because we know that the individual is going to have a much, much lower than once you start adding on spouse and family. Then it's possible that you will have to stay with your employer plan, but your family can move to a marketplace plan and receive a premium tax credit so that your overall cost comes way down per month for your insurance.
So that means that for that individual, that means that I would be covered under my company. And then I start to connect with individuals like you to give me options for my family.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. It's also much when it comes to healthcare, and even when you're in this the open enrollment, you're comparing. Most of the times, you're comparing three programs, and I have even noticed, which is crazy, that in one plan that I had, what do I call it, the what you have to pay in order to get the service.
The deductible.
The deductible for the tier was higher. The deductible for the higher tier, which you would think would get more benefits. It's the premium of them. So you think that would be kind of lower in your deductible because you're paying a little bit more for what you think is the cream of the crop kind of.
Right. And typically how that works is the higher the deductible, the lower the premium. That's usually how it works. But sometimes it's depending on the plan. Yeah.
Yeah. And I've noticed that. And if people are not really looking at the plans and taking time, especially our younger generation, is so very important that we kind of educate them on their options and how to read, and making sure that they know, what the office visit is, what the deductible is, and what does it mean coming out of your pocket every month, or if a situation happens. And a lot of yeah. We don't, a lot of us.
I was going to say that is the one thing that I feel so strongly about is the education piece. Once you have 2 to 3 plans to look at and you've decided on one, is making sure you understand every piece of it, how it works, what's covered, what's not, and then running through scenarios of, if this happens, this is how much you're likely to pay. Because like I said, if you don't understand it, you won't use it at all. And then if something happens and you do use it and you're getting bills that you weren't expecting, then it just makes you want to throw your hands up, and it's very frustrating because why do I even have health insurance, right? But I feel like if you understand that, you have a better idea of the bills to expect.
Yeah. Yeah. And health insurance is, I mean, it's important and we need to use it. And I have to keep expressing that because a lot of people are paying these monthly premiums and they're not utilizing, your annual visits and what's available within the plan. Or you may stay home when you're really sick and you should be at the hospital, doing a checkup or something. A lot of people are not really utilizing what they're paying for every month. It's just absolutely crazy. But when
I agree. But I feel like if you're overinsured, you're paying more money than you need to for the amount of services that you're using. And if you're underinsured, it does not matter how much you're paying. You cannot afford to go and pay anything else. And so the people that are underinsured, I feel like there are options available for them that they have not been educated on, that they don't know about. So they're paying more for their health insurance than they need to be.
Right. Now, are you doing any online education workshops coming here in the future, or any kind of reels that you're putting out to give them tips and more knowledge? Of course, we're going to let everybody know how to connect with you because I think this is very important. Exercise your right to have options in your healthcare.
Right. And understand what your options are. I have not been up until this point in the year. I typically do reels and post more on Instagram where I can give short tips of here's what you can look for. Here's how to understand this. But my year has gotten away from me, much like other people's. And so I will jump back into that real hard soon, probably within the next week.
So we're going to jump into this trend that's going out and everybody is swearing that, people are on Ozempic. I mean, all of the stars, their family members, they're dropping, they're coming out looking like a queen after 6 months. Whole different other person. It's like, it's got to be Ozempic. Okay. So, is that individual? And I'll even put myself in a situation. I had gastric 16 years ago. And so insurance was very important for me because I needed to know if it was going to cover gastric and if I was going to get it. So someone that wants a procedure or something done or wants to make sure that a particular procedure is covered, you would be able to kind of dissect, I should say, go over the program. Of course, you're not a medical professional. We all understand that. But you can say, cosmetic, you can go over under cosmetic and kind of go over what could be included.
Yes. For stuff like that, I absolutely can. It's important to know that many of those elective surgeries, as they would be considered, are they have to be pre-authorized. So you have to have doctor's visits to get through to the insurance, the authorization to get that approved. So even though it says that a procedure may be covered, it's important to then understand that the insurance still has the option to deny and may.
That's true.
So I always caution people when they're looking at insurance, because they need want something specific covered, that just because it says it's going to cover it doesn't mean it will. Yeah.
That is so true. A lot of people are denied for one reason or another, and some of those are because of pre-existing conditions. So yeah. Good. I like to highlight this subject. It's like it's a pain for employees to say open remote. Nobody screams and says, "Yay, open enrollment!"
I do. I think I was the only person that ever did that, because having a pre-existing condition and spending years trying to find a medical plan that worked for me, I would get so excited at open enrollment because of the options that I could then sit down and dig through. But very few people feel that way. And just remember that health insurance brokers are required to do continuing education credits. We're required to stay on top of laws and regulations. So we are constantly learning new things about insurance and the regulations that go along with it. I could not imagine someone picking up a benefits book now and trying to just pick without having someone to talk to, just because of what I know and the amount of stuff we have to learn. I don't see how anyone could be expected to do that and not have questions and not get it wrong occasionally.
Right. And I will suggest anyone that's out there, whether you're independent or you're, with a full-time employee with a company, you really reach out to an expert just to see what your options are and your benefits, and your health care choices, I should say. It costs you nothing to actually pick up the phone and say, hey, this is open enrollment. I've been presented with this, but I wanted to keep my options open. What can you do for me? It costs you nothing to do that. And you may open and I, in one, will tell you, oh my God, it really does benefit you to reach out to them and see, how can I save some money? Because have y'all seen gas prices, the groceries, everything is going up. So if we can, save some money, why not say, well, let me see what else is out there. And by connecting with Hayla, you definitely do that. So can you tell the audience how to reach you online?
You can reach me on my website at haylafolden.com. I am on Instagram at Hayla_Folden. I am on Facebook. You may have to search Hayla Folden Independent Sales, I think. The name on that is just not easy to remember, unfortunately. But Instagram is a great place to catch me. And from my website, you can also schedule time to get on my calendar to just talk, to just have a conversation about your needs.
Right. And that is for the people that are listening, but for the ones that are tuning in or on Spotify, YouTube, or Facebook, full well in the summary, you'll have all of the information in order to contact Hayla on Instagram, Facebook, her website, a little bit more about what she do in our conversation of today. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Hayla, for being with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Look, you guys, open enrollment is approaching. You need to, reach out to an expert. See what your choices are. Be informed. So thank you. And of course, you guys out there, friends, cousin, fam, walk every day with Audacity. Bye, guys.